When the movie begins, we see a car with rain pouring down the windshield. It's coming down hard outside. A girl is out there, completely drenched. The scene cuts to a man named Patrick who's at home. It's raining heavily where he is too, but he's sitting inside listening to the radio. We find out Patrick lives in a camper van, basically his home on wheels. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. Patrick shouts, "Whoever's out there, just leave!" "I'm not opening the door." The person leaves and Patrick goes back to sit down. A moment later, there's another knock. This time, it's a girl's voice saying, "I need help." She asks him to open the door quickly. Hearing that, Patrick walks over and opens it just a crack. He asks her what she needs. The girl says it's pouring outside and she needs to get to the next town. Can he give her a ride so she can get there safely? Patrick notices she's soaking wet and tells her to come inside. When she does, Patrick looks surprised, like he's seen her somewhere before. Patrick asks, "It's already pretty late. Where are you headed at this hour?" The girl says she just needs to reach the next town. Patrick offers her a towel, but she refuses, saying, "I don't need a towel. Just drop me off where I need to go." Patrick explains, "The van's been broken down for a while. It doesn't run. So I can't drive you anywhere. There's a bus that leaves tomorrow morning. You can take that." He tells her, "You can stay here tonight and leave in the morning." Patrick adds that the neighborhood kids often mess with him. They knock on his door and run away. "That's why," he says, "when you first knocked, I told you to leave. I thought it was one of those kids again." Then he notices how soaked she is and says, "You're completely wet. Why don't you take off your shirt and let me put it near the heater to dry?" He says this and stands in front of her, as if he's trying to force her to do it. The girl is terrified, but she still gives him her shirt, and Patrick hangs it on the door near the heater to dry. Patrick then asks the girl, "She doesn't seem like she's from around here. So where is she from? What's her purpose? Where is she going?" The girl explains that she was sleeping on the beach, but the rain woke her up. That's why she came here for help. Patrick is shocked to hear this since the beach is really far away. If she had run all the way from there, she would have had to travel several miles, which seems impossible. So Patrick realizes the girl might be lying. But when he looks at her feet, he notices beach mud on them, which confuses him even more. He offers her a drink, but she refuses and instead asks for his phone so she can make a call. Patrick tells her there's no phone there. He takes some coins from his pocket, places them on the table, and says there's a phone booth a little further ahead where she can make a call. But since it's so late at night, the booth must be closed, which is probably why she had to spend the night there. He adds, "But I have the key to the phone booth. If you want, I can go there with you." The girl refuses and starts walking away, but when she sees a heavy storm brewing outside, she decides to stay. She notices several women's belongings in Patrick's trolley, which makes her think they might belong to his wife. Patrick then suggests, "Why don't you take a hot bath? That way you can clean up and your shirt will dry faster." He says this and stands in front of her again, as if trying to pressure her into it. The girl panics and reluctantly goes into the bathroom to take a bath. Just then, we see something moving across the van, and a loud noise makes her even more nervous. Patrick, meanwhile, wonders how the girl ended up there so late at night. She said she came from the beach, but the beach is actually really far away. She's sure she's seen the girl somewhere before but can't remember where. The girl, on the other hand, thinks, "He keeps coming and standing right in front of me," which makes her nervous. She starts feeling like there's definitely something off about him. Now both of them are suspicious of each other, sensing that something strange is going on. While the girl is taking a bath, blood suddenly starts pouring from her head. But then she snaps out of it and realizes it might have been just a hallucination, something her mind imagined that wasn't real. When she comes out of the bathroom, she sees Patrick cooking soup for her. He also gives her a sweater to wear. The girl asks, "Whose sweater is this?" Patrick replies, "It's my friend's," and she puts it on without saying anything more. Patrick then asks, "Are you married?" The girl, the visitor, answers, "I can't even take care of myself properly. How could I take care of a husband? That's why I never got married. I keep moving from city to city, getting stuck in situations that are hard to escape. Like right now, I'm stuck here, and it's so hard to get out." The girl then asks Patrick why he was awake until 2 a.m. Patrick tells her he's so lonely that he can't sleep. He offers her some soup, but she refuses because she doesn't trust him at all. Suddenly, there's a loud knock at the door, which startles him. He asks the visitor, "Do you know who that is? Did you call someone?" She replies that she's completely alone and didn't call anyone. Hearing that, Patrick looks outside but doesn't see anyone. He assumes it must be the neighborhood kids playing a prank, so he quickly locks the door. Then he notices that instead of drinking the soup, the visitor has been secretly dumping it out. Seeing this, he realizes the girl still doesn't trust him. That's why she isn't eating the food he gave her, not even drinking the soup. So Patrick tells her, "You should have eaten that food." "I didn't put anything in it." The girl replies, "I didn't want to do this, but I did it anyway because I still can't trust you." Hearing this, Patrick grabs a flashlight since the power's out and tells her she's free to leave if she wants. He's not forcing her to stay. The girl says, "No, I don't want to leave. Let's fix the fuse box together so the lights come back on." Now she starts to feel that Patrick is actually a decent guy and that maybe she was just overthinking things. From that moment, she begins to speak to him politely. They both go to fix the fuse box. Patrick walks ahead while she follows behind, holding the flashlight. But the light accidentally falls on Patrick's clothes, and she notices they're stained with blood. He's also carrying a hammer with a shell attached to it. Terrified, she starts to think he might be the killer. Still, she goes to get the first aid kit to treat the wound on his back. When she opens the medicine box, she's shocked to find a pile of earrings inside, one of them belonging to Patrick's wife. Confused and horrified, she storms out and confronts Patrick, asking, "Why did you steal my earrings?" Patrick calmly replies, "This is the first time I've ever seen you. There's no way any of those earrings are yours." The girl, now scared to death, decides to leave. She says, "Open the van door." "I want to go," Patrick tells her. "The door is already open. If you want to leave, go ahead. You came here asking for help, and I helped you. But now you're treating me like I did something wrong. Why do people always come to me for help and then blame me afterward? It's better if no one comes to me at all, then I won't have to help anyone." When the girl opens the door, she sees a violent storm raging outside, so she decides to stay. She looks at Patrick and says softly, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry for treating you that way. You shouldn't have done that." Patrick forgave her and started playing cards with her. He said, "I was married, but my wife used to do drugs. One day she overdosed and died." He went on, "I first met my wife at a gas station. She asked for help because she was hungry, so I bought her a bag of chips. That's where we fell in love for the first time and later got married." Hearing this, the girl believed him and had another drink. Just then, Patrick heard a car pulling up outside. When he went out to see whose car it was, the girl jumped up and ran to her bedroom because she heard a phone vibrating and thought it might be in there. When he pulled back the curtain, he was horrified to see a girl's body lying on the bed, clutching a bag of chips. The girl was terrified and became convinced Patrick was a murderer. He must have met that girl at the gas station, bought her chips, then brought her here under false pretenses and killed her. This was the same girl whose story he'd just been telling, but he had been lying when he said she was his wife. The girl panicked and tried to run, but Patrick was already standing in front of her. He attacked her and tied her up. "Don't fight," he said. "Don't try. It's useless. I killed the first girl with drugs. It's a drug that dehydrates the body and causes the throat to swell, and then you die. You're going to die the same way because I mixed that same drug into your drink." That's what happened. The girl began to feel strange, her throat swelled, and she died shortly after. Now for a twist. Yes, Patrick was a serial killer. The woman wasn't his wife. He had lured her here with a bag of chips and sweet talk so he could give her a painful death. She was his victim. He was the predator who called her his wife, while the woman who came to Patrick for help was just a visitor. This was the same girl we saw at the beginning, standing in the rain. Patrick was sitting in his car back then. He had taken an interest in her and planned to make her his next victim. That's why he felt like he'd seen her somewhere before. Patrick wasn't young even then, and now he's old. Over the years, he had hunted down many girls and killed them brutally. He had become addicted to inflicting pain and taking lives. He killed them without remorse, and now, in his old age, he's completely alone. That's why he started calling her his wife, because his mind was no longer stable. But deep down, he often regretted what he had done. And here's the shocking part. Everything we've seen in the story so far was just happening inside Patrick's mind. His mental state had deteriorated so badly that he could see the ghosts of his victims while reliving their murders. Even though these events happened long ago, his mind kept replaying them. He often saw hallucinations of the girls he had killed throughout his life, and all of it filled him with guilt and shame. Some of these visions became so real that he started imagining things he never actually did. Because of his unstable mind, he created fake stories around them. When this girl came to him for help, Patrick killed her with a hammer. That's why he saw blood while showering. Everything else, his time with the girl, was just a hallucination. He kept souvenirs from every victim he murdered, and now the spirits of those girls haunt him, forcing him to take the same drug over and over again. And he obeys without question. Now it's his turn to die, burdened by the guilt of being a serial killer. But it's too late. His guilt will die with him. And with that, the story comes to an end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.